and I'm going to give the woman a seed. And when she produces that seed, it's going to crush the head of the serpent. So never sleep on a woman who has a casket and a curse because she also has a seed attached to her name.
If I see one more black female,
I'm not going to do shit at my expense.
we're black women. No, folks are going to do everything they can to distort her truth. Hard-working, highly educated, successful people who happen to be black.
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. To respect our women and to protect our women.
Like black women, we so tough all the time. God is real and God lives
inside of all of us.
Hello everybody, how are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling? There was this case, honestly, that kind of rocked me to my core, and I just thought that it was very important for me to speak to you all about it, bring it to you all, and let's have like a real conversation about all of this, because this was going on the internet, and I think that I've just been so disturbed by it and a little bit confused by it, because this young boy spoke about how when he was about 11, 12, I'll say he was in the 6th grade, his teacher, aka youth pastor, kind of violated him. He said that this person had did some stuff to him and hurt him, and, you know, would give him presents after this person did stuff to him, would give him iPads or iPods or do these different things. And, you know, he felt like, yeah, at the time it was kind of consensual, but he was like, that's how he felt because it, you know, validated his sexuality. I believe that he, you know, identifies as a either gay or bisexual man. So him having another interaction with a fellow male, it, you know, it just confirmed to him that, hey, this is what I like men. However, the dynamics to where this is my teacher and I'm a child was the confusion, because he knew that this is not right. You know, like, this is not something that should be happening. And this person is taking advantage of me. This person is grooming me. This person is violating me. But also I'm confusing my sexuality. So this confirmed to me that, yes, I, you know, do like the same sex, but at the same time, I'm getting groomed, you know? So I'm going to talk to you guys about that entire situation. We're going to really talk about it, and I'm going to let you guys know the story. You're going to hear what this young man had to say, and we're going to talk about it. According to information, Americans are calling Antônio Maurice Bentley a petty. You know, I'm not gonna finish the word. A now 18-year-old says Antônio Maurice Bentley, a 31-year-old former teacher at Langston Chapel Middle School in Statesboro, Georgia, and a minister allegedly abused him multiple times when he was 12 years old in the 6th grade. A former student at Langston Chapel Middle School in Statesboro, Georgia, is speaking out about disturbing allegations against his former teacher. 31-year-old Antônio Maurice Bentley, who is also a minister of the gospel, Jeremiah Williams, is now 18, claims that Bentley sexually assaulted him multiple times when he was just 12 years old in the 6th grade. In his Facebook post, Williams recounted the alleged incident, claiming Bentley's behavior was far beyond acceptable and that Bentley sexually assaulted him on multiple occasions during school hours, basketball games, and even in the classroom. The young man explained that at the time he was confused and did not fully comprehend the gravity of what was happening, thinking it was okay as it confirmed his identity in his own mind. The abuse allegedly began during his 6th grade year, a period when Williams felt isolated, having trouble with bullies, and lacking friends. He claimed that his bond with Bentley seemed genuine, as the teacher appeared to be a source of comfort during his difficult school days. Jeremiah posted this following Facebook message. He said, "Please share and repost. Hey, Facebook family and friends. This is not a post that I thought I'd be posting today. But hey, I'm living in my truth, and it's time to tell my story. As most friends and family know, I attended Langston Chapel Middle School all 3 years, and I'd like to highlight and incident that occurred my first year attending this school. While attending the school, I got close with my teacher and parents. Most people thought I went to this school during my duration being there. Can say I had a strong bond with a teacher that goes by Antonio Maurice Bentley. He continues, he says, this teacher has done unthinkable things to me that no sixth grader should ever have to go through. The thing that I went through, and then he continues, he says, the things that were done to me are beyond acceptable. I was touched by this man on multiple occasions, sometimes even inside of the school. At basketball games and even during regular school hours. I am speaking on this now because I am fully aware of what I went through and how much trauma has been caused to me during my whole middle school years. But he said middle years, even up until I told my mom, which was recent and a couple of weeks before I moved. My mom has always asked, has anyone touched me? Anyone touched me? And I would never think back on the incidents with Antonio Maurice Bentley. So I'd always say no. Reason being, I thought it was okay and the reason I thought it was okay because it confirmed my sexuality in my mind, and that's what I thought was okay at the time. During this time, I was 12 years old and was so oblivious to the situation, but now I'm demanding justice and my story be heard. So the school has reached out to some of the families of students who goes to the school. They said this message is to inform you that an employee at the high school was arrested following allegations of inappropriate behavior involving a student. Immediately upon these allegations being reported, this individual was placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the internal and law enforcement investigations and no longer has any contact with students. Maintaining a safe and secure learning environment is our utmost priority, and that can be accomplished in many ways by people speaking up when they hear or see something. We will have crisis response teams consisting of counselors and social workers available to support any student or staff member who needs to speak with someone. Thank you for your patience and understanding as we work to keep everyone safe and informed. Someone has also said that he is a part of a specific church and that they blocked her once she let them know of the things that he was doing to younger males.
The beginning of sixth grade wasn't bad at all. I would say it was towards the middle of sixth grade when stuff started to get shaky. I felt as though I started questioning my sexuality. And, bullying was going on. A lot of that was going on during that time. So, I really didn't have any friends or nothing like that of anything of that sort. So, I was always cool with teachers, anybody that could be in my corner, I wanted to be cool with. Antonio Maurice Bentley was one of them people. He was one of the people that I thought was in my corner during that time, and I felt as though I could trust him. Now we all obviously can see that I could not do that. First incident occurred during the middle of my sixth grade year. I was in the ISS room. It was just me and Antonio Maurice Bentley in the ISS room. We were joking and laughing. We were playing, and it was no context to what he did, but he grabbed as y'all can imagine what I'm thinking about, and I'm not talking about my rear area. I didn't know how to feel. I stood in shock, and I stood there. A couple minutes later, I did it back to him, and one thing led to another, and I ended up giving him oral sex in the classroom. That's the first incident. During this time, I was what you can say is rewarded by the things that I was doing. Me and another student, and this other student DM'd me last night when I came about my story. He asked me why I didn't tell him, because he was also cool with Maurice Brantley. Anybody that knows, that man bought me iPhone 8 Plus during the time I was in sixth grade. He bought me AirPods, food, anything. You can ask anybody that went to that school. He hovered over me like I was a golden child. I could never do no wrong. I could never get in trouble because Maurice Brantley will always protect me no matter what. When I would get in trouble with teachers, they would send me to Mr. Brantley. Shit. So, yeah. Second incident. After a basketball game, my mom allowed Antônio Maurice Brantley to take me home after a basketball game because I asked her, could I stay? But she told me that I had to find a ride. Like I said, after the basketball game, Maurice Brantley proceeded to take me home, and before we stopped to get to his car, we stopped by the bathroom. He went in the bathroom by himself. He locked the door behind him. He then came out of the bathroom, still unbuckling his pants while they were still down. I then proceeded to grope to his groin area, and then we proceeded to leave the school. As we're leaving the school, on the way home, I gave him head all the way home. Yeah. So that happened. There was a third incident that occurred before everything went to stops, and it was one weekend. He talked my mom into thinking that he was going to tutor me. He picked me up from my house that morning and went back to his home in Swainsboro, where he was living at with his mother. And there was no tutoring done whatsoever. There was nothing but grooming and sexual activity the whole time. As we left his house, once again, the whole way home, I get in bed. During the time this shit was occurring, I didn't tell nobody because you don't really know what to do when shit like that is actually happening to you. It's like something that I can't even explain. Like, you can't, like, nobody is prepared to go through anything like that. And I don't want anybody to ever have to go through something like that. Okay. Fast forward to my 18th birthday. Mind you, the years have gone by. I have not had contact with this man. I have not texted him or anything. I can't say that I still had him on social media, on all my social medias. I still had him on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all that. So, fast forward, my 18th birthday approaches, and he messages me, and my mother has the messages. I still have the messages. I still can screenshot the messages. He texts me, apologizing about what he did to me, and that he couldn't explain. He didn't know why he did what he did. And in my mind, it had been going on so long that I felt like the situation was okay. I did not respond in the way that people think I would have responded. I didn't respond in the way that I should have responded. I responded as if, though, I still wanted him to do things that he was doing to me. He quickly texted me back with, what do you mean, or whatever the case may be, and I left it at that. I didn't text him back. Fast forward, thank you for my best friend, because, y'all, friends are, I'm thankful for the friends that I have, and I'm thankful for the people that I call my friends, because without my best friend, Savant, I don't even know if I would be able to even acknowledge the situation as it is. I thought I was at peace with the situation by not speaking on it or not thinking about it at all. As I stated in my Facebook post, my mom has questioned me. My phone stayed checked. My mama questioned me multiple times. Has anybody ever touched you? And my answer was always no, because in the back of my mind, I thought what was happening was right, because in my mind, it glorified my sexuality, because I didn't know what I wanted at the time, but that is what confirmed for me. That is what confirmed for me what I wanted. So I didn't think that it was wrong.
It is literally never a good situation when adults in certain circumstances do not take the high road. I think that, children get mixed up and children are not really aware of their feelings. And I think it's up to adults to set the tone and be adults in a situation, take control of the situation, and be the rationale in the situation. I feel as though this young boy definitely was groomed. I feel as though this young boy definitely was taken advantage of. I feel like this young boy was completely done wrong, in my humble opinion, right? Now, I don't like to really get into situations like this just because I have a very soft spot for victims and people who have been through things like this, and I think that it's very much needed for a questionnaire to occur. I feel as though you should ask these necessary questions. I just never feel as though I'm comfortable asking those questions, because I don't never want to victim blame, and I don't ever want to put a victim back in that situation. And it's hard for me to just ask them any questions. So this is very hard for me to process his entire story, because it breaks my heart as such a young boy that he had to go through something like this. The only thing I would say that brings up any question, and it shouldn't necessarily bring up a question, but since we all are talking about this, is the fact that this man, reached out to him and confirmed that this was something wrong. Hey, I know I should not have been doing this to you. I know that I was wrong for doing this. And he said that, I never responded the way in which people expected me to respond. I responded as though I wanted him to continue doing those things to me. I wanted him to continue, the wrong that he was doing. And this was at a point where this young man was 18.
My 18th birthday approaches, and he messages me, and my mother has the messages. I still have the messages. I still can screenshot the messages. He texts me apologizing about what he did to me, and that he couldn't explain. He didn't know why he did what he did. I did not respond in the way that people think I would have responded. I didn't respond in the way that I should have responded. I responded as if though I still wanted him to do things that he was doing to me. He quickly texted me back with, what do you mean, or whatever the case may be, and I left it at that. I didn't text him back.
So it was his 18th birthday. He was an adult at this point. And when this predator reached out to him, I probably would have never, but I'm not in his situation, so I don't know what to do. But just rationally thinking, as far as somebody who's been through something similar, I would never, ever respond. I probably would be too shaken up to respond. But he did respond. But he responded saying that, he was approving and that he wanted this to continue. So I think I would say, when did the clarity come in his mind to where he felt as though that something was done wrong? Because 18 years old, you are a grown man and you have had time to process what occurred. So at this point, you can really sit back and think like, man, this was done wrong to me. I think that I had seen an earlier clip to where he said that, somebody had told him that this was something that was wrong, Somebody told him that this was wrong, and that's when he noticed that this was something wrong. Prior to, he had not felt as though that this was something wrong. So did you come to that understanding to yourself that this is something wrong because someone else is telling you, hey, you should report this, this is something, or did you clarify in your mind that this was wrong? Those would be the only, questions in my mind, because when this man, reached back out to him at 18, he was, saying things as though like he would want it to occur. Now, is the tears because of shame, because he feels as though it's a shameful situation? Because in his mind, he never felt as though something was wrong. Anybody looking into this situation and see the age dynamic, we would feel as though this is not right. This should not have been happening. This young boy deserved to be protected. But he had not seen anything wrong. Even up to the point that this man reached out to him at age 18, he still had not felt as though something was wrong. And he made a statement. I'm going to play that statement to where he was like, somebody had said something to him to make him second guess and think, oh my goodness, this could be wrong.
The situation is something that I have been battling with for a long time, almost going on 7 years. When people start to ask me questions like, why are you just not coming out about the situation, or why haven't you been saying anything or anything like that? You didn't go through it. I can't say I'm healed with the situation because I'm just becoming like fully aware of what I actually went through. Like, that shit, fucking with your boy.
So if it took people stepping in and saying, hey, why are you just now saying something, like making you feel as though, something was wrong with your experience, and that's what took you, speaking out, you saying something is wrong, honestly, it makes me feel as though that this person would have gotten away with it, would have gotten away with doing this. And who's to say how many other little boys have this person did these different acts to, it's just very heartbreaking, and I feel as though the only reason as to why he's saying anything, I feel as though society has made him feel as though something was wrong with it. I don't think that he believed something was wrong with it. Regardless if he believed it or not, he was an underage child. So in my humble opinion, something was wrong with it, period. But I just thought that I would want to just talk about that. When I think about that, I think about Charlemagne, and Charlemagne talking about how he was like violated, or something happened with him and an older woman, right? Because this individual felt as though he had an identifying moment, because he felt some type of way as though like his sexuality, he felt like he was either a bi or a gay man, and this confirmed his sexuality to him. He felt like, oh yeah, this is confirmed. And a lot of straight young boys have been violated, touched, or whatever by older women, and they don't feel as though anything's wrong with it. They don't feel as though this is wrong, because society has made people believe that, hey, if it's a woman, then nope, you're fine. There is no grooming. There is nothing. It sounds like a great deal. I think that society doesn't do a good enough job protecting young boys against predators. They have certain things to where things are okay. If it's a gay man, if it's a man on man type of situation, oh no, that's what, but if it's a woman doing it to a younger boy, then they're like, oh my God, nothing happened in here, he enjoyed it. I don't care if this boy came out and said that he enjoyed it and said that he liked it. It still was grooming, and it still was inappropriate, and it still was wrong, because this man was a grown man and he took advantage of a child, point blank, period, But I feel as though the only reason as to why this child is speaking up, well, he's a grown man now, he's 18, is speaking up now, is because somebody made him feel as though that he should speak up and that he was done wrong. And if by him not speaking up, in my humble opinion, he would be hurting little boys, and this could have happened to somebody else, and all of these different things. While those things are valid, I feel as though people should come out and speak up when they are ready. I don't feel like they should be forced. And I feel as though when he felt the confidence to tell like his story, I feel either the public or somebody made him feel as though that this is the time that you need to tell your story. I'm happy that he's like telling his story, because this man deserved all the crime for doing what he did. So I'm happy about that aspect of it. But I do feel as though that he should have done it when he was ready, because there's a lot that's coming with that, and I don't know if he's necessarily ready for that aspect of it. I want to play what Charlemagne said about his own personal experience, because for me, predators are predators. Grooming is grooming, whether it's a man or a woman. If you do something against an underage child, you're dead ass wrong, in my humble opinion,
Always getting molested. You just don't look at it like that when you're a young man.
8 years old.
your cousin's ex-wife had a sexual encounter with you. When did you begin to learn the implications that one sort of incident when you were that age had on you throughout your life?
I used to always make jokes about it. They used to be like these little firecrackers that were like these little poppers. So you could throw them on the ground and they would pop. One day I just started throwing them at her because I didn't want her to touch me. She started calling me ugly, like literally from that moment. Like, oh, you ugly, you got a big nose. You know, she'd be telling everybody, look at his nose, I think his nose is swollen. And I remember watching Tyler Perry on Oprah Winfrey Show. And I remember watching him cry over an older woman who molested him. And I remember thinking to myself, what's wrong with him? Because the way we rationalized it in our mind is like when you were young, you just used to talk about it like it was a sexual encounter. When I think about it now, like I had like me and like, you know, 3 of my other younger friends, and all of us were talking about these sexual encounters we were having with older women. So now that I think back on it, I'm like, damn, we all was getting, you know, molested. You just don't look at it like that when you're a young man. When you're a young man, you look at it like, you know, I'm just getting action early. So when I saw, you know, Tyler on Oprah, that's when I first started like thinking about it. And I remember tweeting about it, but I was tweeting about it in jest, like, you know, like wondering like, what the hell's wrong with Tyler Perry, you know? But then I had to start asking, well, what's wrong with me? That that I'm not reacting to being molested the way that, you know, he is. But then you don't even realize that it's molestation until you get, at least I didn't realize it until I got older. And I was like, oh, I was getting molested. And then when you start going to therapy and you start peeling back, you know, the layers of that trauma, you start realizing, oh, this is why I am the way I am in regards to pleasing people. Because I felt like even though what she was doing to me was wrong and it made me uncomfortable and I didn't like it, I had to keep doing it so she'd stop calling me ugly. Because her calling me ugly was really, really, really hurting my feelings. You know what I mean? As a young 8-year-old kid. That leads to you being an older adult who's a constant people pleaser because you don't want to let nobody down. Because, you know, if you let them down, then they'll talk bad about you, you know, but that you realize you got to set those boundaries.
I feel like this child was definitely groomed. I feel like what happened to him definitely was wrong. However, I do feel as though that he is being coached or bullied by the public, or his friend group or people around him to say that you should speak up for this or you should say something about this. You should, you know, I'm glad that he is saying something about this, but I do feel as though that there is someone in his ear making him feel as though that, you know, this is wrong. And it is wrong. That person is accurate in feeling like this. But I don't feel as though himself would have came out the closet and telling, when I say the closet, I don't mean his sexuality. I mean like telling what occurred in his childhood, because this man messaged him at age 18 and he was saying that, you know, he wanted this to occur again and all of that. So I don't think he would have been as open about it. Maybe it's the friends that he has, because he did say he has amazing friends that have pointed it out for him and help him speak up and help him get the help that he needs to get. But I think as far as him crying and, you know, the emotionalness behind that, I feel like it's a realization. But I also feel a lot of that is shame. And I think that he's embarrassed that he didn't see anything wrong with this. And he didn't see that this was a problem, and everybody around him is saying, hey, this is a problem. This is a problem. You know, I think a part of that is that. And he's like, well, a lot of people deal with things like this and don't speak up and all of that is true. And all of that is a fact. I just think that, you know, society tends to shame people or try to bully people into telling their truth. And I don't like that aspect of it. I'm happy that he did tell his truth, but I don't like that society bullied him or made him feel, or his, you know what I'm saying? People bullied him. I wouldn't even say his friend group, because his friend group talked him through it and helped him see that this was wrong. And he, even speaking up is helping a lot of young boys who might have went through similar situations. But I think that, you know, he was somehow forced to tell his truth, if you do know what I mean, because I don't think that it occurs to him that it was a problem. He said in the video that we watched that he's just now coming to the realization that this was a issue and this was a problem, and that when the man messaged him, he was an active, you know, participant at age 18, saying that, hey, you know, I want, you know, this to occur again, and he's 18, you know. When he was 12, underage, I feel as everything that occurred was dead wrong, but I felt like he did not come to the realization by himself that this was something that was done wrong, humbly, in my humble opinion. But I don't know. This entire situation is just a sticky situation. It breaks my heart that young boys are going through things like this. And my heart really does cry for his mother and cry for his family, because you ask those questions as a mom, like, is anybody touching you? anybody doing anything to you, anybody, and then later on for you to find out and your kids are saying, hey, this occurred and that occurred, and you were around and you completely missed the signs. It's like heartbreaking. But this is just my perspective on it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I think this man definitely deserves to be thrown in jail for what he did to this young boy. But y'all let me know what you guys think. I love you guys. Bye.
Shit like that can ruin a person's mind, mental, all that. That shit was stripped away from me at 12 years old. You weren't in it, so you couldn't tell me what to do.